is, thank you everybody for coming. We're gonna be talking about the gig economy. We're gonna have a lot of questions. However, I was mentioning to, there is a lot of information about the gig economy that I need to minimize the information that I can be talking about the gig economy a whole day because it has different, components. So I'm gonna be more focused on millennials, like a student, what can you do with the gig economy? So Boy Jean, thank you for coming. Thank you everybody for being here. We're going to be trying to understand, first of all, what is the gig economy? Yes, and we're going to make sure that we can be able to understand a little bit about more that, the legal ramification when we're talking about that. And then also, how can I make money? That's the most important thing. Yes, how can I get engaged in that? Because every single one of us can be in the gig economy. Yes, but I'm going to be asking a question. So let me get my PowerPoint so I can start, engaging in that kind of conversation. So let me put it here. And then let me put it here. Can you see that, class?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry that I say class, but I just finished 2 classes, so I'm still say class, okay? So when we're talking about, the gig economy, how do we understand that? Yes. So you see here in this framework, you see a lot of words. Any one of you wants to mention one word and what that means for you? Any of those words, because this is the definition of the gig economy.
One of the words that stands out to me is flexibility, which means that you have the will and the power to do anything you please while also gaining an income in the gig economy.
Great, very good. I like that. Yes. What other word do you see that you can give me a little bit of, input on that? Flexibility is one. Yes, very good.
I think independent, Professor Ramirez, is an important one. I think to me, it kind of means the idea that you're your own boss, and more importantly than that, that you are that you decide how things go.
Great. Independence, flexibility, great. Any other word? Thank you, Juan. And I didn't see who was in the previous person. Any other word that came to your mind and see what that means? Anybody?
Can I say projects? Because I know that it just depends on what you're into. What are you trying to like input for your community, such as wise for improvement, or is it just new technology? And
okay, yes, projects. That's part of the the gig economy. So thank you so much for you giving me some input on that. But it's true, all of this is the gig economy. It includes workers, it includes businesses, it's digital, it's flexibility, it's a new work life trend that we have right now. It's a temporary for many people, that they just want to work a couple hours or a couple months during the year. It's a short term, it's a balance between, being a student, being a mother, and being working, like a, Uber now that a lot of people doing, and non-traditional, yes. So it's all those, and we're gonna try to cover as much as we can to make sure that we can understand. That is the gig economy. So I'm not gonna do the norms because, Marcela already did it, but I just made sure that I put it. So I welcome every single one of you. I am Professor Ramirez. I've been at ELAC first as a student 25 years ago, 26 years ago. I came to ELAC just to get a certificate. That was my goal 26 years ago in 1995. And thank God I got my certificate in 5 semesters. I got my certificate in a computer application and office technology. And then while I was getting my certificate, I got hired as a student worker, like some of you are student workers. And thank you to my supervisors and professor, I was able to, to continue my education and now, finally get my full-time position as a faculty. So ELA changed my life, and I'm pretty sure can change your life too. So it's a brief synopsis about, myself. Yes, we're gonna have a lot of questions. I'm gonna be asking questions to you. So I'm expecting, hopefully I can get some of you to answer those questions. So when we're talking about a gig economy, when we're talking about that, it refers to workers who rely on freelance contracts, which means independent, flexibility, projects, yes. That is supposed to a fixed salary, okay? So a fixed salary is like a person like me that I had a fixed salary working for LACC district, yes? Yes, I do have some benefits, but I had to stick to that, schedule that they give it to me. Opposed to now that a lot of, especially now, a lot of millennials, they don't want to be working a full-time job, and they had a fixed schedule from 8 to 5 p.m. every day, Monday to Friday. They want to have more flexibility, more independent, so they can do things. Because maybe generation like mine, it was more focused and to have some kind of more stability. But now the new generation, they want to explore more. They want to have the opportunity to go and explore more. Movement started when a lot of many musicians and artists start using this kind of work alongside other workers, such as mechanics. Like I had someone here from Autotech, contractors, taxi services and more. So what is exactly mean gig? It was an original derived from the music industry. But let me tell you, class, freelancers and subcontractors is nothing new. It's nothing that some people thinking that it's starting now with the Uber generation, but no, it's previously was already done. Some are actually right now, class, to be honest, a group is a lot of seniors are in the gig economy. And but I know, I can explore a little bit more of that, but they're the one that are making more money than the new generation, which is the millennials. Because those seniors, one thing is that they have more experience, and that it counts more. So when they negotiate contract, when they negotiate how much they're going to get paid the hour, they're more, they get better contracts. So they are making more money than the millennials, and that's just something that we need to be aware. Yes. So when we're talking about gig economy, yes, the music industry started doing that. They started as a short-term projects and performance that they was paying them. They start, making contracts for only, a couple hours, and that's part of the gig economy. How many of you, for example, are, doing gigs right now? Some of you are full-time student, but also you are maybe Uber driver, a full-time student, and you are, working in a, I know hospitality is one of the areas that has been damage, and in the sense of damage, I said economically, right now hurt a lot because, we don't have a lot of events, but some people used to be, working in those festivals or events, it's a couple hours and they were getting some money. So when we're talking about that, it's referred to freelancers on a project job base. It's a simple definition of a gig could be a job in a short period of time. That's just a gig. It's a job that you do it in a short period of time. For example, class, I can do a gig on Saturday. Yes, I can go and do one presentation. Yes, I can do it as a consultant. I can go and work with some businesses as a part of the business department, part of the business area. I can do that. And then we hear a lot, especially in the younger generation, we hear a lot about, I'm going to do one gig this week. Yes, which means they're going to do one job, this weekend, just for a couple hours. So that is the definition. And when we're talking about the gig economy, okay, so it's a freelance contract as opposed to the fixed salary position. When we talk about people working Monday to Friday from 8 to 5 p.m., yes, versus working maybe Saturday and Sunday only for a couple hours or during the week for a couple hours, okay? So when we're talking about the gig economy, there's a lot of definitions. So when you see the sharing economy, you are studying business in my class, for example, or in a college, you learn that the gig economy is also called the sharing economy. What is the sharing economy? It's because now that not only the employer, but also the employees are responsible for their benefits. So that's a sharing economy, that you share part of the responsibility, for example, health benefits, insurance, and everything. You as a gig employee, you are responsible for that. And the labor bureau statistic, they call contingent worker. The same thing as the gig economy, they call it a contingent worker. Why they call it contingent worker? Because they said it's a temporary work, yes, and they don't want to give it all the credit to. Not a credit, but they want to recognize that a contingent worker has been for way before Uber was invented. Like I said, a lot of our seniors are now because they have been doing that. For example, when I was working full time in administration, I used to do tutoring. Yes, I used to do that was one of my gigs. Yes, but I was not using technology, but I was face-to-face working with some students, doing my tutoring. So when we're talking about that, that's why you can see different names. Gig economy is more related to now that we have, because it's a lot of technology involved, but the also is called sharing economy in the sense of business, because employees and employers share the economy that we contributed to that. And then as a contingent worker for better, definition from the labor, the Bureau of Labor. So that way you can see those three names there, okay? So when we're talking about gig-based employees include freelancers, independent contractors, consultant brokers, project-based workers, contingent employees, and other outsourced and temporary part-time hires. And we're gonna see some statistics right now, class. I know my colors are very bold right now, but you're gonna see more colors in the next slides, because I tried to combine color, but I had a hard time with the PowerPoint. So I decided to go simple and that's it, yes. So that's why you see this, but you're gonna see more color right now, okay? So yes, the definition that some of you mentioned about that gig workers are totally independent individuals, that they are working as with the clients and not as an employee. For example, when you are, driving driving your car to give it a service for Uber, yes, that is not, you're not employee Uber, you are a client for Uber, yes. So because Uber pay you some portion of your service that you're doing it. By the way, the new gig economy, most of the thing that you look at over is a lot of those businesses, they don't have inventory. They use other people's inventory to make money. So those people are brilliant. Those entrepreneurs are coming very brilliant. Yes, for example, Uber. What else? What other business came to your mind that they don't have inventory, but they still making money? Anybody?
Instacart.
Maggie?
Instacart.
Instacart. Okay, great. Any other one?
Postmate.
Postmate. Good. Any other one?
DoorDash.
DoorDash. Okay. Any other one?
Amazon.
Amazon. Well, yeah, because they're selling your product. Yeah. So yeah, that's a good way. Yes. Airbnb. How about that one? Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Airbnb, hotel service with using your house and making money. Yes. Okay. So yes, you see that that's why it's called gig now. Yes, but I used to call contingent. Contingent was more for independent contractor. Now gig is covering way more, services and everything. They have contracts with that they can relate to the work they need to be done. Yes, and then also they don't have to act like an employee to the organization, so they can be independent. And a lot of people like that. And that's why some of you caught your attention when I put all those words, you right away said independence, right? Because the new generation, that's what they're looking for independence. They want to look for things that they can be doing without having the pressure to be, working a job that it requires for them to be 24/7. Yes. Okay. So going back to the next slide. Let me see what I did. Okay. So according to, I'm just going to give you some data here real quick, but we're going to see more right now. According to the 2020, the number of contingent workers will exceed 40% of the workforce by 2020. Okay, so which means, more millions of people is coming to be in the gig economy. Another report for the Outward, the Future Workforce Report, 59% of the US companies now use contingent workforces to some degree, which include part-time workers and freelancers. So let me mention about this class because it's very important the way that we are going right now. A lot of companies are using those contingent workers. What does that mean? That means that those workforces, maybe they're not going to receive some benefits that regular employees are receiving. So this new form of work has been gaining the attention of the companies as well as the workers. Yes. And the government is paying attention for that, because if I mentioned to you, you remember that I mentioned to you that, or maybe I didn't do, that our college, ELAC, was one of the 18 colleges 2 years ago to receive a grant for the gig economy. And that's why I get involved in the gig economy, because we received a grant to make sure that we can prepare our students for the gig economy, to make sure that they can understand all the liability that you can incur when you are getting into the gig economy. So look at here for a sample class, okay? So this is a new form, and that's why this is, if you realize, if you start connecting dots, you're gonna realize that this kind of form is making a lot of millionaires or billionaires people. And that's why we see all those, you know, Jeff Bezos and, you know, the founder of Uber, all those people making more millions and millions. And what is the reason? And here's one of the reasons. Of course, technology plays a big reason, but this is another reason that the companies, for the company, the workers are as a partner, and they don't have an obligation to fulfill the healthcare, the social security, or the taxes. So that the company is not responsible for that. So the traditional company, that the one that I'm working, you know, and I'm so happy to be working, they pay my, you know, they help me to pay my health benefits. They help me to pay my, you know, my social security and my taxes. Because for social security, we need to pay about 15% of our salary. So my company pay half and I pay the other half. But if you are independent worker, if you are part of the gig economy, if you are a freelancer, you are responsible to pay for all that, you know. So that's just one of the things that is part of the gig economy, that we can say the pros and the cons. Yes, that you are, you know, yes, you have independence, you work on your own time, but also you are sacrificing a lot of benefits that our regular employees can have, you know. And that's just a big issue, because remember, in the last elections, and I know I don't want to get into political, but just to let you know, in the last election, you know, it was a Proposition 22, remember that there's supposed to be, you know, the push was to make sure that those companies pay, they had, the employees had at least a salary, is a, you know, a minimum salary with benefits. But let me tell you what happened. Company like Uber, you know, Lyft, and all those companies put tons of millions of dollars. It was one of the most expensive, you know, proposition, that they put tons of millions of dollars to make sure that it confused the person, so it didn't pass. So instead of giving benefits, the employees ending with no benefits. Okay, so that is the issue when we're talking about, you know, freelancers or subcontractors employees, that you are losing. You're losing those, you know, the healthcare, the social security, or the taxes. For the workers, you know, because some workers, they say, well, you know what, I'm okay because I had a full-time job. This is only my gig. I only do it on the weekend, which is great, because a lot of people has a full-time job. But at the great majority of the people, especially younger generation, they don't. Okay, so that's why I'm here, to make sure that you can understand, and to make sure that you can prepare yourself so you can cover that part. Okay, so for the worker, they get more freedom. It's true. They can work with anyone who pays more, and they're free to work at any time they want to. Yes, it's true. You know, for example, when I use Uber and I go into, you know, I usually use Uber when I go into the airport. You know, 5:30 in the morning, 6 o'clock, because I am one of those travelers that I like to fly early in the morning. So sometimes I ask the Uber, yes, you know, is this your first ride? And they say, oh no, this is my fourth ride. I've been working since 3 o'clock in the morning, but I'm gonna be done by 10 or 11 a.m. And after that, I'm gonna be resting. Oh, okay. So that's why it's good, the gig economy. Yes, it has the pros and the cons. So we want to make sure that we can realize that. So here's some more color. Yes. So the definition of the gig economy, I mentioned it to you. There has been a rise on the characteristics. Do I have a question that maybe I need to answer, or should I wait until we finish this? Maybe I try to get the questions, but sometimes it doesn't give me the question this thing. Okay, so what is this characteristics and the gig economy? According to the statistics, and the statistics change all the time, class. Okay, I just want to make sure that you find more. Okay, it's because, you know, it's growing and growing. Yes, 58% of the, you know, the workers, which is about 23 million, you know, workers doing it in the gig. There's different reasons they do it, because they want to be independent contractor, which is about 8.4%, which is about 12 million people in the United States. They had about also in the contract firm workers, it's about 31%. Those people that are independent and they make contracts with companies. For example, class, if I am very good in painting, yes, and I'm gonna be painting for one company, so I do a contract for this company to make sure that I am responsible to paint some you know, frameworks for them. Yes, I can do a contract with them. It's about 3.1%. On-call workers is about 2.6%, which is those workers that are on the list to be called for any time that are somebody in the full-time job couldn't attend it, so you go and do it. For example, some faculties, for example, in the high school, yes, that they are on-call workers, because they don't have a full job, but they can be called when some full-time faculty is not present. Especially they use more in the K-12. We don't use that in not too much in the college, because in college we had different dynamic, yes, unless the professor is going to be absent for more than two times teaching, and then we get a adjunct faculty to do the class. So that is in co-workers, or also can be a nurse that maybe is working for a hospital, but just when they need the support for additional support. Also, we had a temporary help agency workers, which is about 1.6%. So you can see it's the different ways that people can be part of the gig economy. As an independent contractor, as a contract firm, a worker, as an on-call workers, as a temporary help agency worker, yes? So look at here how the gig economy has been increasing in the United States. In 1995, it was only 9.3%. In 2005, it went to 10%. And the last, and then in 2015, it was 58%. Something that we need to realize, this is before COVID, yes? Now that we have COVID, things are changing a lot, yeah? So we don't have the statistics right now, but according to the Labor Bureau, statistics has been decreasing. We don't know how much, but it decreased, somehow, because especially for hospitality class, because we don't have the hospitality right now, because it's one of the areas that has been, economically really, really hard. So that is something that maybe the numbers is going to differ a little bit, but the latest statistics, and remember, usually we get statistics 3 years later, yes, because, we don't get it right away. So this is the latest that we have, 15.8%, which is about, we mentioned to you that it was about, 23 million people working in the gig economy. So there's reasons why people is working in the gig economy, okay? And one of those reasons, this is some, but I'm gonna give you more, and you mentioned some of those, okay? So the top reason is about 48% of those people that are working in the gig economy is because they want to balance their career and the family needs. For example, single mothers, they want to be working on that week, so they take the children to school, and then after that they can be working, outside. And then when the children come out of the school, they can go and pick it up. So that's why it's you see as a big percentage, 48% of them, because they want to balance the career and family. 22% is because it's the only way to make income. And this is the people that we have to pay attention to them, because this is the only way for them to make income. So we want to make sure that we can be able to help those people. 55%, they want to make extra money on the side. That's, for example, some doctors or nurses or professors that they want to make extra money. For example, I can go and do presentations. So that's an extra money that I can make. So that can be helping me for my vacation. Yeah. So extra money is 55%. And 19% is earning while you're seeking a better job. So some of them, while they find another job, they can be, doing this. For example, class, and now that we had the COVID situation, I hear that a lot of artists, a lot of actors, musicians, they were working in Uber, because that was one way that while they were waiting for their business, for the, for entertainment to go back, they were working in Uber to survive. So that's something that a lot of people is doing, and 19%. And 48%, the reason they do it is because they had autonomy and control of their time and the schedule and everything. So that's the top reason for working in the gig economy, okay? So there are also more other reasons that I want to mention there, because this is the survey that it was done by Manpower Group and the Freelancer Unions and Report Linker, that this is the most common reason people want to join the gig economy. And you mentioned it, some of you, because that's why you see those words, great flexibility. They want to be their own boss. They don't want to have anybody else to come in and be the boss, They want a better work-life balance. Yes, they want balanced life, and we saw that a big percentage. Less stressful work environment. You want to be working only 3 hours, you work 3 hours, and the rest of the day you enjoy. They want to see there's more opportunity to learn and advance in their career. Apparently there's a more meaningful work for them. Because sometimes how many times you get into a job and it's a bored job. The only thing that you are there is because you have a salary, yes, but You want to enjoy. So some people say, you know what, never mind. I'm going to do, and I'm going to find something that I can enjoy doing it. And better pay, and can be also a side income, additional income, and great respect and empowerment. Great respect and empowerment. That's the main reason that also people say that they work on the gig economy. Okay, so here's all the gigs, not everybody, but look at all the gigs that we have. Uber, Yoshi, look, DoorDash, Doorman, all those gig that has been, apps have been created thanks to the gig economy. We also have so many here, for example, for grocery delivery. Look at all those apps that we have for grocery delivery, for restaurants and food carrying. Yes, we had all these businesses that they deliver food, that are coming, that some, are using those. They also have for simple tasks that the people wants to do it. For example, if I'm looking for somebody to come in and cut my garden, I don't want to have a garden every week because my garden is very small, but I can do it once a month or every 2 months. I can look for somebody to come and do it. Yes, and I can get in one of those those apps. Car rental, not anymore the O'Hares and those car rental that are, that now we have more car rentals available for us. Also for other delivery. For physical tax, for parking rental, drug attending and pet washing. In my business class that I teach every semester, my student needs to do a business plan. And one of those groups 2 semesters ago, they did a great business plan for a dog washing. They did one of the members that they really love the dogs, and they put a plan for to open it up. So you can see the gig economy is expanding. We can have way more. It's only some samples here. We have Leaf for, for ride sharing here, Curb. We have so many different business, Uber. Yes, there are a lot of people think that Uber started the gig economy, which is not true. Yes, because the gig economy, the gig economy name started with the technology, but actually the freelancer or the subcontractor has been in place in many centuries ago. Okay. So now that I learned about all that, so what is that? How do I get paid? How do I want to measure? So according to the Pioneer research, freelancers worldwide, they charge about an average of $19 per hour. Administrators and customer support gigs have the lowest average, like around $11 the hour. Then while legal services rate to $20 the hours on average. So it depends in the field that you are. Is how you have to be looking at what is the level that I can be charging. Yes, for example, you are in the legal service, you're going to be putting about 25 hours and above. Yes, this is the average, and it depends also on the area. Some areas are more expensive than the other one. For example, some maybe in East LA can be less than maybe in San Francisco. Yeah, so you have to be looking but this is just an average. Okay, nearly half of those surveyed work 30 to 50 hours per week. And then more than 80% are focused on 1 or 3 jobs at once. For example, you are in computer, you are good in computer. Maybe you can be running 3 computer programs for different, businesses. So you're an accountant, yes, and you don't want to be working for anybody, but also you don't want to be putting you want to be putting your business, so you can be working that. For example, my accountant, he's an independent business. He used to be a high school teacher, and he left the high school position to become independent contractor, independent business. And he works, especially right now in this time that we had the season, he works sometimes more than 50 hours per week. Yes, but once the season is over, and then he relaxes. Yeah, so that is something that it depends in the field that you're getting into. So let me give you an example when we're talking about taxes. What is my responsibility to pay taxes? So one of the problems with the gig economy, or the especially with some employees, that they don't realize that working as an independent also requires a lot of responsibility. And that is the part that we want to make sure that we can emphasize here, class. Okay, there are the responsibility that you have as an independent contractor, as an independent, as an independent, employee. The taxes, because you are having you are part of the gig economy. For example, I give you an example for Airbnb. Airbnb, for example, if you rent your house more than 14 days, less than 14 days, and you occupy your house more than 10% of the time, you don't pay taxes on that, okay? But if you rent your house more than 15 days per year, then you want to make sure that you set aside money for the income tax because you need to report that. So taxes is a very dynamic word that I don't want to get into too much on there, but I want to make sure that you can understand that you are a part of the gig economy. You are responsible to pay taxes. And that is something that a lot of giggers don't realize, that they have to put money aside. And it has the pros and cons and benefits. So one of the reasons that our college received the money to, to educate the giggers is because they want to make sure that those gigs, that they minimize the liability and they realize the responsibilities that they have. And some of those responsibilities is taxes. We are responsible to pay our taxes, yes? And average is between 25, 28, 35% that you can pay in taxes, yes? And that is something that you have to make sure that you can look over. So for example, in this case, as a rural Airbnb will host 28% of your income taxes if you don't provide them with a W-9 form. So you don't provide them, they're gonna withhold 28%. Sometimes it's less money that you pay, the 28%, and they return to you, but they want to make sure that they can pay taxes for you for the property, because you have to pay. And then also sometimes for Airbnb, you have to be aware that sometimes in your local area, you have to pay taxes to the local area too. So you have to make sure that you can realize on that. And the other side class for taxes, I am an employee for LACC district. So they will hold my taxes. Yes, they will hold my taxes. So, but when I pay taxes class, I had to pay taxes for my gross income. So if at the end of the year, I made $50,000, even though I only receive maybe $30,000 because they already, they will hold for my Social Security, for my retirement, I had to pay my taxes for my gross income. Different from as an independent contractor, you pay taxes for the net income. What does that mean? For example, if you sold in the year you sold $50,000 in product, but after you deduct all your expenses, whatever is the net income, that's the part that you're gonna be paying taxes. So if your expenses were about out of the 50,000, you put expenses I don't know, $10,000. So you're gonna be paying taxes only for the 40,000 for that net income. That's the difference also on you. And I highly recommend you, some of you are, freelancer or subcontractor, to make sure that you can have a good accountant to make sure that they can do your taxes and they can help you to, to legally put all the expenses that you incur. When I was a self-employed many years ago, class, before I started learning English, I had to survive. Yes, I had to help my husband. So I was selling product. I was selling Mary Kay. I was selling kitchenware. So the kitchenware was one of the areas that I had to pay taxes. And I had to pay taxes, and I had to put all my expenses, including my mileage, all the supply that I need for that. If I was buying shoes for my presentation, I had to include my shoes. But I had to get an accountant to make sure that I legally know how much I need to pay, because I don't want to, I didn't want to get into, deduct a lot of things and then later on to have audits. So that is very important. And I also recommend you to make sure that you can save all the receipts for your expenses. For driving class, every year, at the beginning of the year, I used to, take a picture of the, the mileage that my car has. So that way I can see how many mileage I use for my business, because remember, you also get credit for the mileage you're driving. So that is very important to know. How do we pay taxes? But it's important for you to know that you must pay taxes, because that is something that, I have many family members and friends that they don't pay taxes, and I've been working with them to make sure that they do. And some of them, I did it last year, and they were so happy, because now with all the money that we receive from the incentives, the bonus, not the bonus, the incentive that the government has been given because COVID, they have been able to get the money too. Okay, so it's important for us to understand that we have to pay taxes. Okay, and we need to separate at least between 25 to 30% of the money that we earn for taxes. Okay, so now we're gonna go into legal documents. Do I have Elisandro here? Anyone from DRC?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Elisandro. So I'm gonna lead this important part to Elisandro, because he is working a lot with in the DRC, and he knows more legal documentation for our undocumented students. If you are undocumented, how can I be part of this gig economy? So Elisandro, I put some information there. directly from the DRC presentation. So make sure, let me know if this is enough, or you want to share some of your area.
Well, thank you, Laura, and thank you for all the information that you're sharing with all of us about the gig economy. And what I want to, as my name is Elisandro Manya from the ELAC DRC Dream Resource Center, and what I just want to share is that as undocumented individuals in the United States, you are able to legally work in the United States. There are laws that protect your ability to work. Um, Certain spaces are restricted, but you do not have any restrictions from being able to be your own boss, right? So here's some information that if you did not know, now you know, right? Like the saying goes. So in 1986, right, the Immigration Reform and Control Act. Um, there's somebody trying to log in. Uh, Stated it is illegal to knowingly employ unauthorized workers in the United States, right? However, neither work authorization nor a social security numbers are required to engage in independent contracting or business startup work. So, what you need as an undocumented individual to be able to do that is an ITIN number, an individual tax ID number, to legally earn a living in the United States as long as you pay your taxes, right? Instead of doing the I-9, then you would be doing a W-9 form. So this is old school law at this point, right? In 1986. And California has other laws that also basically defend you or allow you opportunities to work. I don't know if you included those other laws
Yes.
here in this presentation.
Let me see. I put the Senate Bill
Yeah,
1139.
so here in California, we have the California Senate Bill 1139 prohibits. This is more on along the lines of U.S. students, right? One thing that you need to keep in mind as undocumented students is that we don't know what's going to happen 5 years from now, 10 years from now, right? Do not limit your opportunities in education based on current law. For example, if someone back in 2008 would have maybe considered uh, um, pursuing an academic counseling degree, and maybe at that time, maybe they could have gone to a counselor that wasn't really too supportive, and maybe they would have been like, I don't see why you would go and study to be an academic counselor, because you can't work in a school, because schools are publicly funded, they're federally funded, so you can't work legally in those spaces. Well, guess what? 4 years later, Obama signed an executive order to pass DACA. That student may have qualified for DACA. And then guess what? By the time they finished that education program, then they would have been able to get DACA and be able to work legally. So I'm just using that I'm creating that example, but I'm using it as an example for you to know that immigration law changes, right? There hasn't been a large scale immigration reform act since the mid 80s. However, there's been other things, especially at the state level, that change opportunities for undocumented individuals, and this being one of them, right? Um, SB 1139 prohibits in the state of California students from being denied admissions based on their citizenship status to healing arts, right? What that means is like the medical field, residency training programs. In the past, undocumented students had a hard time getting into nursing programs because of that. So ensures that all individuals who wish to pursue a medical profession may compete for scholarships and loan repayments available under the Health Professions Education Foundation. So it also allows you to be able to apply and try to tap into some funds that could support you. There's also another law, and it might be in the next slide.
I don't have it.
No.
The HR1, Elisandro.
Yeah, so no, the HR6, no. There was
Okay.
another one, it's called SB 1159,
Okay.
And that's the one. That one, as Senate Bill 1159, is a California state law that allows undocumented individuals to get professional licenses in the state of California. And those professional licenses are many in the healthcare industries, but include areas like architecture, areas like dental work, right? And real estate, to study law, all these different areas. So in the state of California, we are in a, our undocumented community is in a better position here. So my I guess palabra here in this space, as Laura presents her work on the gig economy, is that you as undocumented students have the right to pursue whatever kind of career pathway in our educational institutions that you wish to pursue, and do not limit yourself based on whatever kind of current laws are out there right now, because things are changing. In fact, soon our DRC is going to host a workshop. Something for you to maybe Google right now, though, is HR6. HR6 was recently passed in March 18, I believe, is
Yes.
the exact date,
March
last
18th.
month. And this HR6 is going to allow individuals who qualify up to 10 years of protection status, and extending um, legal right to work and things like that, similar to DACA. So there's a lot of things changing, right?
Yes.
And with that, I do want to say that, I want to stress that all this change is coming from the people, right? I
Yes.
just want to say that because as undocumented students that you all are, or undocumented individuals, um, whatever change you want to see in terms of your rights, your access to spaces, has to also come from you, right? So we can't sit back and expect anybody to do it for us. We got to do it ourselves. And all immigration law has happened because of the workers organizing, the community organizing. It wasn't Ronald Reagan or any other person. It was the people. So whatever
Yes.
we do as a people is what's going to happen in 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. So keep doing what you do. We all know that undocumented students are amazing students. So we're all very proud of you.
Yeah. Thank you, Lisandro. Thank you so much. And the reason I use Lisandro because he's an amazing, part of the DRC, team, and he knows a lot in the sense of laws. And then he's on top of all those laws because he is working in other programs too. So make sure that you can attend more our workshops in the DRC, especially in the sense of legal. Okay, so we have a lot of services. So thank you so much, Alessandro. So here are the 5 best websites to find a gig work on it: Fiverr, Upwork, Freelancer, Gister, 99 Designs, all those different, areas that you can find that gig in case you're looking for a job. Like you see, for example, the Fiverr is the biggest network marketplace for freelancers. All you need to do is to post you can help your client with, and then what rate, and they will contact you. I've been looking for that, that app. I'm looking when I need some kind of support in my house for something that I cannot do it. So this is how you can get some jobs, and this is gonna be just for some of you comments on the. It's gonna be posted. It's gonna be this. It's recorded, so it's gonna be posted. Okay, but I want to make sure that I can finish because I want to make sure that I can ask some questions. So going back to the micro business management skill certificate, the micro business management and the gig economy, we had one certificate that prepared you to be a little bit more prepared to be in the gig economy, and that is these classes. So 4 classes that you can take and you can get a skill certificate. One is the business one, introduction to business, marketing one, which is marketing and sales, or marketing 11, finance say or accounting one, and the management 13, which is a small business entrepreneurship. And that is a certificate that we offer in the business department. So I want to make sure that I can mention to you because sometimes, I had a student say, how do I get prepared to be ready in the gig economy? Like you mentioned about responsibility, liability, taxes, make sure that I can save money for my health insurance. So we cover in general, what is the business and how do you to be prepared to be more successful. And then I want to introduce also to you, our undocumented Husky Club. So if I had the president of the Husky Club, the vice president, the secretary, just briefly to introduce, so we can let them know that what are we going to planning to do for the fiscal year? Katia or Justine, are you there?
Hi, yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Hi, so my name is Justine Miranda, and I am the secretary for the Undocu Huskies Club. I see that we also have, I think we had a few members. Mindy Bond is also a part of the club as well. Katia Alvarado, she is our club president. So basically, the Undocu Huskies Club is a club that we are in the process of starting. We are going through the application process at the moment. And so I'm just going to share my screen real quick. Or could I share my screen, Professor Ramirez?
Yes, actually there was a bit, my last slide before the Q&A. Yes, and I see some questions here.
Okay. Mm.
And then going back to your questions here, I just gonna I know that Justin is trying to share. Okay, Justin is there.
Okay, so the Undocu Huskies Club is basically an opportunity for students to come together, undocumented and allies alike. It's a space for students to collaborate and to advocate for undocumented students as well. So these are a few of the members of the Undocu Huskies, as well as the staff. A brief history of the Undocu Huskies. So it came about as students on campus wanted an inclusive and safe space for undocumented students, where we provided resources and advocated for our undocu population and provide on-campus and off-campus support. The Undocu Huskies Club was chartered in November of 2019. And so there has also been past events that involved providing resources to undocumented students, such as the DREAM Act financial aid workshops, mental health workshops, and transfer workshops. As well as we have already discussed already planning upcoming events as well, with an emphasis on mental health and wellness, especially during the pandemic. I know that that is an issue that a lot of our students have been facing during this past year. So I feel like that is definitely an important topic or issue that we should provide further resources with, as well as book readings and a movie night as well, so that students have a safe place to socialize with each other and to just discuss issues, around being undocumented and how we can, further our advocacy and just, a space where, we can just hang out and get to know one another. So there's also benefits of joining the club, including student advocacy, higher education opportunities, leadership skills, experience to use for college applications and resume, a safe space for students and allies to connect, of course, keeping the momentum going for students, interactions during DVL, fundraising skills, and of course, just having fun. So these are the requirements to become a charter member for the Undocu Huskies. You do have to be a paid ASU member, and we are actually in the process of supporting students who need to pay off their membership fee. We do have a meeting actually tomorrow at 4:30, and I'll go ahead and put the link in the chat if you guys want to join us. You guys are welcome to. You must have and maintain a GPA of at least 2.0. And throughout the term of office, you must be actively enrolled in and successfully complete a minimum of 5 units per semester. I think we do have all of our charter members at the moment. So these are requirements that aren't needed to be a club member. But though, if you are interested, in the future, or if we do need a charter member, then these are the requirements that are needed. And then, of course, this is an important area of development that our students will be able to develop, which is fundraising skills and opportunities. And these are ways that we could fundraise, such as selling food, writing letters to organizations, raffles, and local restaurant partnerships. And the benefits of fundraising would include scholarship, entrepreneurial skills, to promote the Undocu Huskies mission, and to network and expand the club as well. So yeah, that's just kind of a brief introduction to what the Undocu Huskies is, the requirements to join, the benefits of joining. And so if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And then as well, if you are free to join us for our club meeting tomorrow, I encourage you to join us as well.
And thank you so much, Justine. Thank you so much for doing. I have some questions that I want to make sure that I can answer before we leave today. One of those was a comment that Cielo made it, that she said that she didn't realize how important taxes play. I mean, that how I didn't know taxes plays a huge part in being self-employed. Yes, Cielo, and that's something. That's why we do this, because we want to make sure that a student knows what they engage to. Juan Calvillo is asking a question. About the gig economy. He said, what are some, so they said that what is the advice that we can give it to the workers to prepare themselves if they plan on doing a gig work? Well, let me give you an advice, and I want to make sure that I emphasize, and this is what's part of my, my responsibility was when I'm, as a gig economy coordinator, to make sure that the students understand the responsibilities that they have engaging and working as independent contractors or freelancers. Also to make sure that they can see that there's a lot of opportunities, yes, but you have to be also aware that you need to pay taxes. Also, you want to make sure that you can protect yourself, make sure that you can create waivers when you get into, some kind of doing some kind of service or job. For example, yes, I had when I do the presentation for the other, I forgot in this one, but just imagine that you like to play music, and you like to go to usually plays music in your house. So somebody wants you to go and play music at the house as a, what is the name for that? As a, tell me please, my brain is.
To hire como like a banda or something to
yes,
music.
Yeah, so you're going to do that, and something happened over there in the house. All the electrical, electricity is gone. So a lot of the appliances are damaged. Yes, so they are going to be blaming you because you took the music over there. So you didn't let them know that you need a specific, power and electricity. So you need to be prepared to be protecting yourself. That's why big companies do class. They do protect themselves. Yes, so you want to make sure that you can, look in the area that you're trying to do your gig and make sure that you get ready. Also be organized, plan everything and and make sure that you can keep track of all your expenses. The second question is for Mr. Humana. So hopefully, Elisandro, you are available to hear. So what are some resources students undocumented can take advantage if they plan to work on the gig jobs? Elisandro?
That's a great question. There's some good organizations out there that we have partnered with in the past. One of those organizations is Immigrants Rising. We've invited them in the past to do presentations on different Kickstarter grants that they sometimes have for undocumented people that want to start a small business. So I'll put the link on there. And there's another organization called Undocu Hustle. And that's an organization where you could find more information about ITINs. But in general, contact us, and we'll be able to support you on that. And what the way it goes, and whatever we don't know, we'll look for it with you. We'll find out together. That's how we learn as a community. So I'll go ahead and put those couple links on there. But yeah, those are some resources. I hope that helps a little bit. One.
Laura, there was one question from the registration. That's from Juan Calvillo. It says, with tax season looming, is filing while doing gig work the same process? And also, what are some of the common mistakes gig workers make in the beginning?
That's a very good question. So let me tell you one thing, class, and I didn't offer a group. Taxes is a big dynamic topic that we need to cover. I just did a brief presentation, but taxes is a big area that you need to go for. So my recommendation to you, you're going to be in the gig economy. Make sure that you work with accountant to make sure that you can do quarterly, taxes report. I used to do that. I don't do it the whole year. I didn't wait the whole year. I had to do quarterly. There are some deadlines for every quarter that you need to submit your taxes. It's the best way because you can keep track of your expenses and your income, and you pay the portion. So that can be great for you to do it. And that's a quarterly. The other one, make sure that you get a good accountant to make sure that you can get, you find out what is the legal, amount that you can get into pay taxes. Remember, you don't pay taxes if you only made, $200 a week, and then at the end of the year, you only make $5,000. But if you make more than that, there's a legal limit that you need to make sure that. So and it depends on that. And the field. So make sure that you can get like I said, data taxes is, I can be doing a whole workshop in taxes, but because I'm not professional in taxes, I can find somebody from our business department in taxes that maybe they can come and do presentations on that. I'm not compromising, but I can try to do that. If many of you are interested, we can do that. Yes, that is one part. Did I answer the question, Marcela, about?
Yes, the other one was, what are some of the common mistakes gig workers make in the beginning?
Yeah, in the beginning, well, many of them thinking that they are responsible to pay taxes, but nobody knows about it. Yes. Well, let me tell you one thing that they can keep track on that. When you're putting money in your bank account, yes, and you put in money, the government is looking at everything. Remember, that's why we had, IT number or social security number. Yes. So sometimes we have to be responsible and say, yes, I mean, for example, if I am working in the gig and I only report $35,000, but in reality I made $100,000 and my banking account reflect that, that can be some kind of question. Yes. So please make sure that you keep track of everything that you sell and everything that you spend. That is one of the most typical mistakes. Another thing, Jesse put it that now he knows about the classes. The classes that I mentioned are available at ELAC. Yes, Maria Menezes, and we offer those classes every single semester because those 4 classes are the core classes for all the certificates and degrees that we had in ELAC. So, and the business discipline. So if you want to pursue a higher degree, those 4 classes are going to be helping you. So all our certificates are stackable. So you take those 4 classes, but also can be helping you to qualify for marketing degree, business management degree. So yes, are offering ELAC. Any other question? Okay. And Elisandra's putting that. So I know this is already 1:05. I want to thank you, every single one of you. We want to continue offering this kind of, workshops for you so you can learn about it. And Cielo, keep track of your receipt, your workspace, included proof of customers. They help with taxes. Yes, Cielo. Especially class, if you use your house, put it, make sure that you put it, you're going to pay $300 and you use another place. Make sure that you include that space in your house as a part of your rent and keep track of your customers through. Documentation is very critical. I cannot emphasize that much how critical is documentation. Even in a single paper that you can write, the keep track of, that is very, very critical. Thank you, Cielo, for giving that information. So thank you so much. I want to thank our DRC team, Marcela, our amazing Marcela, Elisandro, Dr. Ochoa is here, and also Justine, and now our new member, Cielo Valles. Thank you so much for being and supporting. And let me know if you had any other question. Otherwise, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
If the
Thank you,
team is staying,
Professor.
we can talk a little bit after that. Yes. Thank you, Maggie. Thank you, everybody.